All right, it's all you, Aspen. You're good.
Good to go. All right,
Good
and
to
hit
go.
record. Hello, everyone.
Actually, I'm going to remove the
believe-
spotlight, so this is more just conversational.
Okay, I like it.
Okay, good.
All right.
Go ahead.
All right. So first of all, I cannot believe that this is the second to last week. Holy cow, does time fly. I think as we're moving through things, they tend to go slow. Time goes slowly, and then we hit when something is almost over, 12 weeks is almost over, or time passes so quickly, and we're like, whoa. So it's nice to reflect and connect and just really meet together and put our heads together. And so tonight we're talking about team culture. And in a minute, I'm going to pass it over to Tracy, who's going to kind of just share a little bit with you guys and kind of just cue up what we're going to do tonight. But mostly connecting with you. And when it comes to culture, you guys know, if you don't know by now, you probably do know that connecting with each other is the most important thing we can do in this business, because being alone isn't the way to be, because when we're together with others, we grab hands, we grow, we learn. And through this program, if you've learned nothing else, I hope that you've learned that. So I'll hand it over to Tracy, and she's going to throw some questions out and get some questions from you. And we're just going to kind of lock arms tonight and go through this and even build even more culture.
Yes, very good. And first of all, I also want to say, hey, yeah, guys, in case you guys didn't know and are not keeping track, it's week 12, which is just such a huge deal. So I want to just shout out again, like Aspen said, it is such a great accomplishment that you guys are still with us, and we're proud of each and every one of you and love seeing your aha moments and stuff. So please keep all of that going as well. And so team culture, I think that is something that you guys hopefully have already kind of started, regardless if your team is of 2, 5, 17, 75, it's really irrelevant. That is something you want to embrace and that you want to develop immediately once you start building a team. And I know all of us have one of those positivity roles in all of our groups. And it's really important because we've said this before, but who you surround yourself with, that is who you're going to emulate. I mean, it's just how it is. We teach our kids the same thing, at least I know I do, model the behavior you want others to follow. That's a simple thing that I've embraced. And I'm always really, really trying to teach that to my team members as well. Because whenever you see that other stuff, naturally people follow it. But if you're positive and if you have, good energy, people want to be around that. So surround yourself with those people. And through these small groups and your accountability partners, we hope that you have made some of those connections and you can continue on those relationships as we move through this program as well. And you guys can brainstorm. So if you should have those moments where something's going on your team page and you're not liking the way it's going, you guys can use each other, just like several of us SSDs do. When we have situations, we're like, how would you respond? What would you do with this? It's nice to have like-minded people around you to get their input and their, how would they respond? Because sometimes, especially if you're in the heat of a moment and you're just not sure, their voice is usually the best voice. So with that, just a couple of questions, and anyone can actually unmute, or if you need to use the chat. I know sometimes you've got situations going on in the background and you need to use the chat as well. We have people monitoring that too. So would you kind of share some examples of maybe some of the things that you do on a regular basis within your groups, or that your leaders might do within their groups that you could share that would benefit all of us? Does somebody have something they would be willing to share with us?
I'll share, Tracy.
Great.
So we've done a lot of things throughout the years. We used to do monthly meetings locally, and they were great. But as times change and schedules get busy, that doesn't always happen. So what we do now with COVID and all the, everything being online, and we have a team that's just spread out from everywhere, is on the first week of every month, we do a training of some kind. The second week of the month, we do just a open forum where everybody can just come and they can chat about Scentsy or not Scentsy. I mean, it's just kind of just a free for all, wherever the conversation leads us. That's what we do on the second week. On the third week, we do a game night. And then the fourth week, we do a booking blitz. So we have and mostly the same people get on every time, but we just do different types of things to keep everybody engaged, yet still getting trained, but yet not being so just training, because there's a lot of people on my team that are hobbyists that they don't really care much about all the different trainings, and they just want to have that community. And so by having it each week, it's about 30 minutes. It's not even a whole long time, but it reaches so many different people.
Very good. So Jill said that she loves the Work at Wednesdays, and I believe that's Hannah started that. I'm not sure if Hannah is on tonight.
It's not on, but Jill's
Okay.
part of my group, and we started Work at Wednesday last spring, and it's just a community building event that we do. Same concept as Kelly. It's just a community building event. It's a opportunity for people to jump on and ask questions. We work, they work, we share what we're doing. We do a leaders lounge on Monday that's very similar, and our attendance is pretty good, and people seem to love it. They love just the fact to connect with each other. So I apologize. I've got a barking dog in my office, so I'm off screen half the time.
You can definitely tell Karen is getting ready for a big move, and you can definitely tell her cupboard is bare in the
Yep,
background.
it is, and there's boxes right behind me. So
Yeah, so very good. Well, thank you for sharing that too. So does anyone have anything else that they would like to share on things? Oh, Kimber, yes, Kimber is very generous. She happens to be in my organization. Kimber is just a natural leader. She truly is. And something that she has done, and she's opened it up to our group, is brainstorming sessions that she offers twice a week. And sometimes they have something specific. I know I've seen her post that we're going to be talking about this or sharing this. And then other times it is just a randomness, which I think is nice too, because like you said, when we have consultants that are all over the spectrum, or sometimes I have found, and when I have my one-on-one conversations with some of my team, is they're very intimidated by the Zoom process. The thought of turning on a camera, the thought of having to speak. I mean, not that we actually make anyone speak, but they don't really know because there's still some intimidation. Not everyone is comfortable with this whole new, way of doing things. And so I think that's important too, when you're having those one-on conversations. If there's people that you really think would benefit, maybe they're struggling in their business, maybe they're struggling personally, just to open it up and have that one-on-one conversation and say, did you realize that we're having these on Wednesday? This is what it looks like. You can come, preferably turn on your camera, but it's not required. And just to have them included, because that's, again, when we think of team and we think of community, it's inclusion as well. And so, like I said, if there's some people in your organization that you really think have the ability to do something with this business, don't be afraid to one-on-one say that and ask them why. I mean, maybe they can't ever do Wednesdays because it's a Wednesday and they have a commitment, but you don't know until you've had that conversation. So I would definitely suggest that. And then, yes, Becky also happens to be in my organization, and I'm not a reader. I wish I was, but I'm not. I'm a listener and a talker, but I'm not a reader. And I love videos. I love to watch videos. I just need kind of that engagement of watching and following a person along. But Becky has really been great. She has a book club that she started, and it's typically some type of a leadership or just improvement type of book. And again, so that reaches a whole different clientele or team members, so I love that idea too. And Carmen, you said you try to post something positive every week. You can use the chat or you can unmute, but is that something that you do in images? Is it, where do you get your positive post? Or do you just create it yourself?
If I find something that clicked to me, I try to share with my team. I know outside things could be hard, or the news and all that stuff, then I try to keep posting stuff that empower or give like more empowerment posts of pictures that I found that helped me, and I share whatever helped me that day.
Carmen, thank you for contributing. I think that's important too. Sometimes we might think about our team page as needing to be focused around sales and sponsoring, but at the end of the day, it is nice. I know I can tell you whenever people have posted things, sometimes I see a quote or something specific and I'm like, That's exactly what I needed in that very moment. So I think it's okay. And I want to be sure everyone knows it's good to sprinkle in sometimes things that aren't specific to the four chords of our business, but at the same time are specific to us as people and humans, and making our day, you know, a little brighter just because of something we saw or we read. Let's see. Oh, very good. I don't know if you guys are seeing the chat, but she was talking about they have a Monday Mingle. I love that. That's a great name, Monday Mingle, for their little team and group. And she said, again, it sounds like, you know, the fact that she did a one-on-one really brought some insight to her. And so that is good. It's a good reminder for you guys to keep that in mind, of checking in on your team members occasionally, and don't be so dependent. Like a lot of us are so dependent on social media, just posting something and thinking we're going to get sales. There is still a phone. We can still one-on-one make contact with people, and we need to remember to do that as well.
Hey, Tracy, something else that I think was really helpful. A bunch of SSDs went together. Jamie Solons coordinated it, but the Better Together small groups that we all kind of led. And we didn't have a huge participation in it from my group, but those that participated, they were paired up by title, by rank. And it was a commitment for, I think, 3 months, maybe. And once a week they met, and the people that participated really loved it and really felt it helped them build a tribe of other like-minded people who, you know, who kind of were their peers and had great ideas. So I'm hopeful that Jamie will put that together again this summer.
And Karen, I'm glad that you brought that up too, because I found what I liked about it was I had a group of there were lead consultants, and most of them were actually pretty new. I mean, most of them had joined Sensi within the last year, which was kind of nice. And they were from all over the US. And again, some of these consultants they only knew the people in their little bubble, you know, so it was great for them to have an opportunity to meet people that were outside of their little bubble. And even the different personalities and stuff, it really did help. We had some, you know, that were really, really shy at first, and then they ended up being like, you know, the highlight of the whole group by the time it was in, because it was small. We had anywhere from 2 to 8 people, you know, in our meetings. And so it was really, really good. And even though the program ended, we still have our chats open, and there's still dialogue that's happening. And so again, it's really great. I can tell you for me personally, some of my closest and dearest go-to people in my universe are Sensi family, not real family or biological family, but is my Sensi family. And so, you know, there's some truly remarkable people in this business, and the sooner you can connect to them and the more you can connect to, I can assure you it will only get better. So.
Can I just say something real quick?
Please do,
Along the
Jill.
line
Yes.
of the Better Together groups. So when that first started and we had to like register for that, I was director. And by the time we got separated into groups, I was DQ at that point. And so originally when we first met, I was like, this is not where I need to be. Like, these people are way above me. Like, this is not going to help me. And so like that first meeting or two, I was quiet. If you asked me a question, I answered, but that was about it. And then I realized that it was never about what our title was to anybody in that group. It was about sharing ideas and coming together and building that tribe. Our group message is actually called Better Together Tribe, and we literally talk weekly still. So for me, it was inspiring and motivational in the sense that, yeah, now I'm not DQ anymore. I'm back to superstar consultant. But I've gotten 2 new recruits and having some of the best months that I've had because of them and their ideas and all of us talking together.
Jill, that's an excellent. I'm really glad that you piped in, because it was another reminder too of that mindset. You know, it's almost like you had a moment where you were like, I don't fit here. I don't belong here. And the reality is, regardless of where we live, regardless of what our title is, you know, we all belong and we all fit. But we need to remember that some of our team members might be experiencing that same thing. You know, maybe because they're not a top seller, maybe because they haven't been active for 3 months because of whatever reason, that they don't feel like they can belong or they can contribute or that they should join. So great reminder, Jill, as well, that, you know, it's really not about what our title is today, tomorrow, or next week. I mean, we all want to celebrate each other, but we need to be really cautious of not letting that mindset ever peek in for us. And we need to be cognizant for our team members as well, that we can keep pulling them in and pulling them up because they might be experiencing some of those same things. You know, I was really fortunate when I hit director that I've never not been paid at title. I didn't experience DQ or the SSC thing. So even though I want to be understanding of what that experience is like, I personally haven't experienced it. So I appreciate you and some of the others that I've had the opportunity to talk to help me, you know, have an understanding of, I know that's a hard time, but I also know it can just be a moment in time. Like you said, you got right back in the saddle. You sponsored 2 new team members. You know, you have to keep moving forward. And I have a feeling, Jill, not just because of Better Together, but you probably have surrounded yourself with a lot of people that are building you up. And it's the culture, it's the community, it's the people, your circle, that are keeping you engaged and motivated. So great job, and kudos to you, by the way, on your new team members. Let me get back to the chat. See if I've missed anything. Okay, and the Better Together, I think someone said, if any of you guys missed out on that, I don't know for certain, because Jamie, like I said, she kind of started it for us, if that will be happening again. But if it doesn't happen again, basically what it was just a group of individuals that we broke out into like titles. So they weren't necessarily all lead consultants or all-star consultants, but we tried to kind of loop them together so that there might be some more common like action plan type things or common steps that you guys were working towards. But you can do that within your own, you know, team or group. You know, if you're a part of whoever your SSD is, I'm sure that they have a group, and you could reach out, just private message a handful of people and say, hey guys, you guys want to meet? Do you want to network? So you could do it on your own, and then watch for, if we decide to do this again, just watch for that announcement or an email invitation for you to participate as well.
And can I add on to that, Tracy? I think
Please do, Karen.
You know, you guys have been broken up into small groups 3 times now. And the idea of that, other than there were many reasons for that, but one of them was for you to start to build a tribe with each other and to make those connections. So you have the ability to do that with each other on here and carry that forward as well.
Yes, absolutely. And I know initially when we had, and I don't know if any of you guys are on, but if you're Region 2 and you're on, yay, you guys. So I know initially when we did our first group, it was challenging for some of you guys. You know, maybe you're a star consultant with a team of 3 and you don't have anybody in another region and you're like, what's this? What's this whole time change things? How are we going to make this work? And the reality is those are the type of things that you're going to have to do as your business evolves. And I heard from a couple of you how much you loved, you know, the opportunity of getting to know someone in Region 2. And it's great because you never know when you might sponsor someone and you're like, okay, I don't know what groups are available for my person in Region 2. Well, now guess what? You guys have a connection with a consultant in Region 2 that you can tap on her shoulder and say, I sponsored someone in Region 2. Can you kind of guide me along here? Tell me what they should know or what they need to know or where I need to have them. So those connections are all things that you're going to use throughout your entire journey with Sensi. So I want to add that too. Sonia, do you have anything that you would like to add of kind of like what, you know, your team culture community looks like in your group, kind of some of the things that maybe you've done that you found to be successful?
Well, there's a lot of things we've done in the last year to try to build community. I'm lucky enough that I work well together with my downline SSD, Mia, who's on here. And about a year ago, we decided that we were going to join our groups together and work together and form a leader team with our directors, because there's just so much more benefit from working together. And then we all know that sometimes your downline kind of tends to eventually tune you out, and they'll hear the same thing from somebody different and it will click with them. So we thought, how cool would it be to have all of our leaders working together, you know, training our teams. And so we formed that last April, but also within that group, we formed a group called Destination Director, which the ladies that are in this Ignite program were pulled from Destination Director. And that's a group of star consultants and superstar consultants that were paid at title and showing behaviors, not just saying that they wanted to have a title of director or be a director within Cincy, but actually doing the behaviors to get to director. So we put those like-minded consultants in a smaller group together, and we work with them at a little higher level. We have a Zoom once a month with them. We'll bring in special guest speakers for them sometimes. But we also want to get them growing and developing and being comfortable training and sharing, so that when they move out of Destination Director onto the leader team, they're already doing all the things. So we have a daily share calendar in there where each day one of them contributes something, and it can be anything, just anything beneficial to a consultant at that level. And then we have one of our leader team go in once a week and do, we call it a tips in 10, a short training in 10 minutes or less. That's more on a leadership type level for them. And am I missing anything, Mia? Is there anything you want to add to that? But there's a lot of what we're talking about right now, community in that group. And it's going to be so extremely powerful when the consultants in that group and the consultants in this group and the consultants in those small groups and better together, when you guys see each other, get to actually see each other at events for the first time and meet each other in person, it's going to be something really magical.
Boy, that is something I can tell you I am so looking forward to. You know, I have always been excited about the in-person events, and it's so, I mean, I always appreciated them. I always got excited. It truly was like going to a family reunion, you know, seeing your long lost cousins and sisters and misters and all of those things. But I mean, the anticipation now, I can't even imagine what that energy is going to be like when we all do get to be in person for the first time after all of this madness. So it truly will be remarkable. And that's something you guys can look at doing too. You know, if when reunion is happening, you know, get together with some of your local Cincy sisters and misters, you know, maybe go to someone's house, whatever you're comfortable doing, obviously, given the times. And I know things are changing too, but hopefully all for the better, you know, is connecting with some other local consultants and experiencing it together. It won't be the same, but it is fun. I know we did that with our last reunion, and we're doing that with this upcoming reunion as well. And so just kind of consider that, you know, maybe you can make it happen. If you have to do it the Zoom way, then do it the Zoom way, but at least that way you feel like you're sharing the experience with some others.
Mia, was there anything that you wanted to add to that?
Well, just real quick, we do an all consultant call too with our group each month. We call it happy hour. And so we'll just have a short training or a guest speaker or something like that, just another opportunity to connect and learn. And then another thing that the group has done that I think people enjoy is on the weekends, we reserve it for shout outs. So, you know, like if any team member wants to shout out a fellow team member or a downline or anything like that, they have free access to do that and to welcome new team members into the page. So the weekends are kind of fun for just celebrating each other, and then we reserve the weeks for the content and adding valuable information to the page. But yeah, so far it's been working great. And like Sonia said, it's been amazing to work with a bunch of other people and to get all the ideas and be able to have our teams learn from a bunch of different people too. So
Mia, I do have a question on that, because I really like that idea about, you know, I've never had office hours, and I just kind of work whenever my life allows me to, which is all random, which works for me. But I do like the idea of what you said on the weekends. I mean, it's not that they can't do training and that the other things aren't offered, but I love that idea of having shout outs and celebrations. So how did you kind of train up? How did you lead to kind of make that happen? I mean, I'm sure you don't delete a post on Tuesday if someone says, yay, someone just sold 2,000 PRV, but how did you kind of facilitate that so that it would look like that on the weekends?
Good question. We have post approval set up on the page. And so directors and above are admins of the group. And we meet with the leader team once a month. And it took a couple months to find a system that worked for us. We were finding when we didn't have any real restrictions on shout outs or welcomes, and it was kind of clogging up the page. And so we decided as a team, like, first we tried a thread and that didn't seem as effective. And, so like I said, it took a couple months to figure out what really worked, but this week, the weekend shout outs, I think is going really well. And so the leader team knows to just approve things on the weekends. And then if I see a pending post hanging out there, I will reach out to the person who is wanting to share the post and let them know that the approval will go through on the weekend. And I think, just with the consistency with that, people are learning, that how the group works, basically. It took a little bit, but
it's a really good idea. Again, not because I'm promoting people not to work their business on the weekend, but I just think it would be really refreshing if that was what your weekend looked like, when you went into the group. And then we're not necessarily, I don't want to say pushing training on the weekends, but at the same time, like, I just love that. I think that's a really neat idea. And I wouldn't have thought about doing it that way. So thank you for sharing that, ladies.
Yeah.
It's very good.
So I just feel like I want to share something that's on my heart since we're talking about importance of community, and I'm just going to be raw and real. And I know we're almost time up, so you can hop off if you need to. But I just want to share that my kids are 14 and 17 now. But when they were younger, because of my husband working overseas, I didn't get to go to a lot of events. I've only been to 2 Superstar Director Summits. I did make it a point to make it to Reunion every year, but there were a lot of things that I didn't get to attend. So the 2 times that I did attend Superstar Director Summit, I had imposter syndrome. I didn't feel like I belonged there. I didn't know a lot of people. And then when I would go to Reunion, or I would go on the incentive trip, I had one friend that I tended to cling on to. And for years, I did not put myself out to make new relationships. I stayed in my little shell, and my business became very stagnant. And I knew that it was time I needed to grow, and I needed to network, and I needed to form relationships with other leaders in order for my business to move forward. And so I have in the last year done some things that have been uncomfortable for me, and almost, if you will, kind of inserted myself into some other groups of leaders. And you guys, it's the best thing that I could have ever done for my business. And also when I made that, started to make that change a couple of years ago, where I knew I needed to start surrounding myself with other people, other more like-minded people, it was a total game changer for my business. I didn't have from my upline anything like this or anything like the Better Together group. So I just want you guys to know what a powerful blessing this program and small groups and things like that are, because there is no better thing that you can do for your business.
Well, that is an excellent share. And I'm glad that you did and that you were able to do that, because I have a feeling there's probably many on here that needed to hear that. So thank you for your willingness to do that. And I know I agree as well, as far as the piece is inserting yourself around, people and putting yourself in that position, because it's easy, I think, at least it has been for me to be like, oh, well, you know, I could never do things like that person does or like that person does. But here's the thing, because I inserted myself in that community of people, they brought me up. You know, they said, hey, you can do this. Let me get on with you. Let me help you. Let me guide you. You know, it doesn't matter. Again, I'm a superstar director, but I assure you, the list is long of things I don't know how to do. But when you surround yourself with the right people, what I want you guys to hear is that any and all things are possible, because they will lift you up and you'll be lifting them up when that time is needed as well. So with that, we're going to wrap things up. There's going to be a new guide. It's going to go up in the group tonight. And there's going to be some information there as well as a challenge. Your challenge for the week will be posted there too. So make sure that you guys check that out tonight or tomorrow. It's fine too. And we're sure glad that you guys are still with us. And again, hats off to you guys that joined us live, and that those of you guys are going to be watching it later as it's been recorded, because we truly are very proud of each and every one of you guys. So continue to see, we could plan to continue to see lots of success, and we'll see you guys again next week. So good night, everyone.